Hey everyone, I can't believe it's been almost 2 months since I last updated you all. I've missed chatting, but life has been keeping me very busy. Do Tyler's parents still talk to him? No. My mother-in-law cut him off almost instantly and went no contact. My father-in-law has very little contact with him and only speaks with him when he takes the kids on their supervised visits to see him. Did Tyler cheat on you with more than just Jess? To my knowledge, there was only one other girl, and if you click on my comments and scroll a little, you'll see me briefly explain the situation. If there are more than that, it's not to my knowledge, and I honestly think I'd prefer not to know. Aren't you concerned about Jake and Jess being in contact with one another still? They are siblings after all. Jake and Jess never had a good relationship. They were in very low contact before any of this came out. They never got along as kids, and the relationship never changed as they got older. Looking back on it, it was a major red flag about how she treated him. They only ever spoke as adults at family functions, and even that was brief and only surface-level conversations. What all are you telling your children? You should let them process how they need to. The only one who is old enough to semi-understand what's happening is my oldest. I sat both of them down and simply said, "Mommy and Daddy aren't together anymore. Daddy did some things that I wasn't okay with. That means Daddy won't live with us anymore. But you can still see him, spend time with him, and love him with all of your heart. It might be a little confusing, and that's okay, but it's important to know that we both love you guys so much and that will never change." Then I asked if they wanted to talk about it at all, or if they had any questions about the situation. My oldest had a few, and I answered in an honest but age-appropriate and gentle manner. They are still in therapy. They come to me if they want to talk about it, but if not, I don't push it on them. My goal in this has never been to weaponize and poison the kids against him, and it's something I will never do. He's their dad, and I refuse to traumatize them any more than they have been. Do you have a Venmo, registry, P.O. box, etc.? I am warmed by your thoughtfulness and kindness. However, I cannot accept any of it. You are truly beautiful humans for being so willing to help me. However, I ask that you give those donations to your local shelters. I have a rather large inheritance and an amazing support system, but if I wasn't so fortunate, I could have very well been one of the girls who had to take refuge at a shelter. I've been making donations to shelters near me and my kids, and I have been volunteering at a few. On to the update. So if you read any of my previous comments, you know that baby boy is here. He's honestly been the calmest newborn that I've ever managed. Hardly cries, is very content and happy all the time. He's been reaching all of his milestone markers, even hitting the ones that aren't on the premature scale. It's been such a relief and a blessing. The older two completely adore him, and are of course eating up the extra attention they get from their grandparents. Yes, Angie and her husband are called Grandma and Grandpa as well. When I went into labor, I had told Tyler that I was in labor, but I didn't want him at the hospital. It is his kid, so I was being courteous. He blew up on me for taking away his right to see his child be brought into the world. I simply turned off my phone to relax and de-stress. He actually showed up at the hospital and had to be escorted off the property by security. Not for being violent or anything, he just wouldn't leave after I had told the nurses. I delivered at the hospital I work at, I'm an RN. I didn't want him around. After that, he hasn't been to a single visit to see the kids. I initially sent him pictures of the baby and updates, but he never responded and eventually blocked my number. After roughly a month, I asked my father-in-law to reach out to him since no one had heard from him. My father-in-law actually showed up at Tyler's house to do a well check since I was concerned something was wrong. Even though I don't love him anymore, there is a piece of me that will always care for him as the father of my children. It turns out he has a new girlfriend and just isn't interested in being a dad anymore. He actually even denied paternity, even though he's the only person I've ever been with physically. The kids are honestly and surprisingly okay with him not really being around. No, I didn't feel it necessary to tell them the harsh things he said. Jake has been completely amazing. He had my favorite food delivered to me at the hospital postpartum. He's been FaceTiming me and texting me regularly, chatting it up with the kids. He hasn't been pushy on me at all. He has let me set the pace completely and hasn't crossed any of my boundaries in the slightest. He actually booked me a surprise postnatal massage and arranged all of it, including childcare. It was the most relaxed I've felt in months. He sends little gifts and food to the house occasionally, especially on my hard days. Jake has truly been a breath of fresh air. He comes home in just over 3 months, and I'd be lying if I said I wasn't excited. As for me, I've still been regularly attending therapy. It's really helped me cope and in general become a better person and mother. I'm still devastated by my dad's passing, and grief really loves to put a chokehold on me when I least expect it. Sometimes I just go sit in his office where it smells the most like him and cry. I was very blessed to have such a loving and amazing dad. Angie and my mother-in-law have truly been angels on earth. I cannot express how beyond lucky I am to have this amazing support system. Even my father-in-law, Angie's husband, has been insanely supportive and kind. I would be lost without their unconditional love and support. As crazy as it sounds, I'm honestly unbothered by the divorce and Tyler not being around anymore. I think I'm more relieved than anything. My heart aches for my children, but I don't know. I don't think I truly realized how long I was holding my breath and walking on eggshells in that marriage until I was in a space where I didn't have to anymore. My therapist and I really dug deep and took off the rose-colored glasses. In a weird yet awful way, I'm almost thankful I caught him cheating. I think that's why I was so calm and methodical during the leaving him phase. I go back to work next week. I think I'm ready to find my new normal and get back into a routine. While my heart aches and my dad isn't around to see it, I'm ready to unlock this next chapter of my life. Cheers to the chapter of healing, self-love, new beginnings, and finding peace within the chaos. Thank you for going through this journey with me, supporting me, sharing your stories with me, and just being here. I love you all, internet friends, and I hope you have an amazing day. I'll update again when I can.